Now I'm about to describe you and give you an overview of a class, or what's a script made of, a Unity script made of. But before we do so, I want to get straight into doing something interesting. Go inside of the void start, so right below that, after the curly brace, press enter, and right here I want you to just do transform with a lowercase t dot position, and here you can do plus equal, and here just put vector 3 dot, and here you can put up times 10. Okay, now I'm not going to go into too many details, but as you can see, it says that we want to transform the position and we want to add 10 to the up direction. Okay, so we basically are saying that we are moving our object 10 degrees up, or 10 units up. So do file save, and once you do file save, go back to Unity, press Command Tab or Control Tab, and once you're inside of Unity, if you have not had any errors, you should be able to go. Now if you have any errors, it's going to show in the bottom here. You should see some red text. If you see some yellow text, you're fine, that's okay. Yellow is just warnings, and expect to have warnings at some point. Now let's press play and see what happens. So you guys see the capsule here? Now the capsule is up. Alright, so let me show you the difference. Again, right now if I click on the dummy, the capsule, the position is at -4 for the Y, and when you press play, boop, it went up. Alright, so I'm going to remove the maximize on play so that you guys can see better, and we can keep the Y position. Okay, so it went from -4 to 5, so it went up. So as you can see, we moved the position just not by moving anything within the scene here, but by using the script that's attached to the dummy. All right, so that's how you play with the actual variables of the object. Now you can just remove this line or comment it out to have it not have any effect. How do you add a comment? Just add 2 backslashes in front of it, and the text changes colors. It goes from black to gray here. Now in some of your screens it might turn green, and that's totally fine, but this means that it will never be used. And by the way, one of the common errors is that we forget to save. So remember, saving is very important. File save. If you forget to save, then you might not see your changes and you might be wondering why it's not working. Now let me explain you in details what do we have here. So I'm going to remove this completely because we actually don't need that. What you see here is just the basics of a file of a script for a game object in Unity, and it's made of a class. So it's a public, meaning that it's accessible by anything outside, but don't worry about this. Just know that at the beginning, if you're not sure, just use public all the time. And we're making a class, and the class name is dummy behavior script, and it's taking its behavior from mono behavior. So I know it might be a lot of things at the same time here, and that's what I want to explain here. So before we get started, let me explain you what a class is. A class, it's a programming entity. So anyone that comes from the computer science field knows what already a class is, but I don't want to go into too many details, but know that a class is basically the model that many objects are going to be derived from. For example, when I say a table, in your head you might be thinking of a table, or if I say, let's say, a car, in your head the image of the car that you have in your head is different from the image that's in my head. Okay, so, and it's even different from the image from anyone's everywhere. There's always a difference, but we know and we will agree that the image that you have in your head and the way both cars will behave are going to be very similar, in the sense that they will have wheels and you will be able to drive them from point A to point B, and that's what a car is about. So we can agree on that, and that's what a class is about. A class is that we don't care if it's of blue color, green color, if it's bigger, smaller, or anything like this, as long as we know what it behaves, and it's here. That's what a class is about, and it's inheriting from mono behavior. What does this mean? It means that it comes from mono, and it comes from this parent class that we all inherit from. Let's say it's like humans inherit from mammals. So we know that all mammals behave this way. Or all dogs are going to behave in a way that cats will also, because they all are mammals as well. So this is like a way to say, okay, these are all the things that they have in common. All right, and so that's why monobehavior is. Now, you may be wondering, what do all the game objects have in common? You guys already know that. They have the transform that are in common. Let me show you again. If you go back to Unity, you will see that every object has transform, and they all have this in common, such as the position, the rotation, and the scale, and some other properties as well. So remember, that's why you're inheriting from monobehavior, because you can inherit from all these properties here. And we already know that because we just used that earlier. We used the transform.position. Now, how did Unity know that when I wrote transform.position, it knew to move the object? Because it's inheriting from monobehavior, and monobehavior says that's what you gotta be doing. Okay, having said that, a class starts and finishes with a curly brace. Okay, so you always have to have the curly brace. Now, there are two methods or actions, or people call it also procedures, that always come with a monobehavior type of class. You have one that's called start, and one that's called update. Now, you may be wondering, what is all this void and opening and curly braces? Know that, first of all, this is what you use usually when you start an action or a method. Now, what is an action and a method? An action is something that happens once, usually, or multiple times, but it's something that you can call or trigger over and over again as long as you type its name. And monobehavior, Unity already comes with classes or actions already made. So the start is the action that is triggered whenever Unity starts. Whenever you press the play button in your game, then the start will get triggered automatically. Okay, so remember, that's very important. Whenever you click on play, the start action within any of your game objects will be triggered. So that's why I was able to move the object, because I put the change of the position here. Remember, I put transform.position here. I put plus equal, and here I put vector3 dot up times 10 and a semicolon. Okay, so I'm not going to go into the details of this yet, but right now what you need to know is also the update. So the update is actually happening every time there's a new frame. So it's like just in movies, you know, when in 1 second you might have up to 30 or 60 frames, meaning that this code is getting triggered 60 times per second. So the update might be triggered 60 times per second. So anything you put inside of the update will be triggered every time there's a new drawing on the screen. Okay, so every time Unity decides to redraw something on the screen, the update will get called. So right now, save this. Command S is the shortcut, or Control S on. And whenever we press play, we saw that the capsule moved up. Okay, so the dummy moved up. Now, if we go back to MonoDevelop and we take this line of code that we wrote, we just cut it, right click and do cut, and then paste it inside of the update. Now, how do you do inside? Just go within the two curly braces, the opening and the closing one. And here, just paste it. So right click, paste, or Command V. And here, this will move it up. Now, I'm going to do times 1 because 10 is going to be too fast. But just know that at the end of the day, same thing happens. I'm going to press Command S to save. And now, I'm going back here and I press play. And look at what happens. By the way, don't forget to save. Did you guys see that? The capsule is moving up. Now, I'm going to make it slower, going back to MonoDevelop. And instead of 1, I'm going to put times 0.3. Okay? And that's going to make it slower. File save. Now, going back to Unity, press play. Oh, yes, because I need to put 0.3 f because it's for a float. All right, save this and press play. Then I'm going to need at some point to show you the details of what the float is. And as you can see, the capsule now is moving up. All right, so now this is very important here. As you can see, in the start, it only moved once, and here it keeps moving up. Why? Because the update action is getting called over and over again. All right, so know that whenever you want to create an object that's moving or that looks like it's interacted, you gotta add your calls inside of the update. Okay, so make sure that's where you put the code. All right, so that's already enough for the start and the updates. I advise you to watch this video lecture again and again. This is a very critical point here. Thank you.